The present study covers the enhancement of or modification of WOA as an approach to solve the course timetabling problem. The performance of the WOA was compared to that of the traditional WOA in terms of convergence rate, and then its quality was compared using the Jane's Fairness Index. So in this study, it was tested to actual data sets and did not anymore consider the use of benchmark data sets as it would have a different requirement. Procedures and tasks that are not mentioned here is not included in this study anymore. So for the general objective of my study, the present study develops a heuristically enhanced wheel optimization algorithm through the removal of the encircling procedure and integration of crossover and mutation that enabled to significantly reduce the computational expense in solving course timetabling. For the first claim that is presented in this slide, the WOA addresses the high computational expense of WOA. This is for the objective determine the improvement in convergence performance of the WOA over the traditional WOA. For the measure, we have here the convergence rate using the runtime analysis. So for the methodology procedure used, first, WOA and HWOA were implemented and applied to the course timetabling problem. Next, small and to large datasets were used to evaluate the algorithm's convergence performance. And then the runtime of each algorithm was measured for each test instance, starting from the initial solution until it approached zero as an objective criterion. Then for the result, it was presented here that for the event size 304, which is the largest that was tested on WOA that was acceptable. So there is an improvement of 99.96% in speed of convergence, and then 99.93% for the reduction in the generation of solutions. For the second claim, that is to determine the fairness of resource allocation of the generated tables using Jane's Fairness Index. The methodology is as follows. First, the timetables were generated using HWOA with two different penalty functions, exponentiation and sum. For the fairness of evaluation, Jane's Fairness Index was used and calculated for each timetable to assess the fairness of resource allocation. For the statistical analysis, we have the mean and standard deviation, which are computed to summarize the fairness index data. For the result, the standard deviation provides an indication of the spread or variability of the resource allocation across different entities. For the average, lower mean suggests a lower average resource allocation. And then, of course, for the fairness, the Jane's Fairness Index is a measure to evaluate the fairness or equality of resource allocation. So in summary, the exponentiation function shows a moderate fairness value that is higher than that of sum, while there is some variability indicated in the standard deviation. The allocation is relatively balanced among entities. For the third claim, this is to determine the acceptance of the schedule generator developed implementing WOA. Okay, for the measure, this used the IS success model. So for the methodology, a web application was developed in implementing WOA to generate the timetable. A questionnaire was designed based on the dimensions of the IS success model, including the factors such as system quality, information quality, user satisfaction, and perceived usefulness. The questionnaire used a 7-point Likert scale where participants rated their agreement level with each statement. The questionnaire was administered to a sample of users using purposive sampling who interacted with the schedule generator. The responses were analyzed to assess the user acceptability levels. And here's the result. The survey result in table 4.4 represents a highly acceptable result of 6.4 for system quality, 6.1 for information quality, 5.9 for service quality, user satisfaction 6.3, intention to use 6.7, and net benefits 6.5 with an average of 6.32, which is very acceptable. The survey suggests that the generated solution of the schedule generator using HIWOA was highly acceptable. So it also indicates the high level of user acceptance and satisfaction with the generated schedules. Users found HIWOA-based schedule generator to be intuitive, efficient, and capable of meeting their requirements. These findings provide empirical evidence of the effectiveness and practical usability of the HIWOA-based schedule generator in real-world course timetabling scenarios. In summary, for the specific objective, determine the improvement in the performance of the HIWOA-based wheel optimization algorithm through convergence over the traditional WOA. So in conclusion, HIWOA runs faster with a reduction of approximately 99.9643% in runtime and 99.93% in average generation time compared to WOA. For the second objective, determine the solution quality of the generated timetable in terms of faculty preferences using James Fairness Index. So the result indicated that the timetables generated with the exponentiation penalty function exhibited an average James Fairness Index of 63.02% or 0.63, while those generated with some penalty function had an average index of 43.86 or 0.486. And number 3, objective, determine the user acceptance of the schedule generator developed implementing HIWOA. So for the conclusion, user acceptability assessment using the IS model and 7-point Likert indicates that the developed schedule generator was acceptable to the user. So for future work, features can be added to the system for the user's convenience, such as the availability of web forms for the collection of user input, graphical visualization of the timetable data. And then the application of the HIWOA in solving course timetabling could be further challenged by adding more soft constraints such as a balanced room utilization, student preferences, and dynamic pairing of days of the week. Okay. So that ends my presentation. Thank you for taking time to review my research and presentation. I welcome and appreciate any questions, comments, or critiques you may have. Your insights are invaluable to me, and I am eager to engage in a thoughtful discussion that will further enhance the depth and quality of my work. Please, thank you very much.